Hollywood is known for dramatizing true stories, often embellishing or adding fictional scenes to make films more engaging and entertaining. Producer Ryan Murphy has faced criticism on several occasions, notably for his portrayal of Dahmer and now for his series on the Lyle and Erik Menendez case. The show got several things wrong, and certain events were left out entirely. Let's dive into some of those things. In the brothers' 1993 trial, the prosecution presented an envelope as evidence. The envelope contained naked photos of Erik and Lyle Menendez when they were ages 6 and 8. The outside of the envelope was inscribed with the words, "Erik's birthday, November 1976, in Kitty Menendez's handwriting. The photos themselves did not show the boys' faces, but rather their private parts. During her closing argument, defense lawyer Leslie Abramson reportedly presented the photos to the jury and stuck pins into the photo of the younger brother, recalling his testimony that his father had stuck pins and tacks into him during intercourse. Despite the show's depictions of Lyle using cocaine, there is no evidence to support the claim that he abused drugs of any kind. As a student athlete who played on Princeton University's tennis team, Lyle was under constant parental scrutiny and had little inclination to abuse substances. In fact, he was known for his straight-laced behavior, going so far as to leave his prom early with his girlfriend at the time. Furthermore, Lyle's brother Erik has stated that Lyle did not bully him and even came to Lyle's defense after the show aired. Jose Menendez became CEO of RCA's record division. During his tenure, he oversaw the signing of the Puerto Rican boy band Menudo. Menendez played a key role in shepherding the group, helping them achieve global success and sell millions of albums worldwide. However, Menendez's leadership was not without controversy. While he reportedly chastised RCA musicians about drug use, former Menudo member Roy Rosello later accused Menendez of drugging and abusing him. Roy Rosello also claimed that the band manager and creator Edgardo Diaz abused him as well, and he was the person who took him to Menendez's home, where he was subsequently drugged and abused. In December 1988, 17-year-old Erik Menendez wrote a revealing letter to his cousin, Andy Cano, detailing the abuse he and his brother had endured from their father. The letter stated, "I've been trying to avoid Dad. It's still happening, Andy, but it's worse for me now. Every night I stay up thinking he might come in. I'm afraid. He's warned me 100 times about telling anyone, especially Lyle." This letter came to light years later when his mother, Marta Cano, discovered it in storage. Cano, who passed away in 2003, later testified at the trials about the conversations he had with Erik regarding the abuse. In the initial trials, Erik and Lyle Menendez both alleged that their parents had abused them. However, during the trials, the prosecution argued that the brothers had killed their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, not because of abuse, but in pursuit of financial gain. Lyle's prosecutor, Pam Bozanish, controversially said,
First of all, that men cannot be raped since they lack the necessary equipment to actually be raped, and it's a people's position.
The first trial of the Menendez brothers ended in 2 hung juries, one for each brother. Faced with the prospect of a hung jury, Los Angeles County District Attorney Gil Garcetti stated, "I'd rather have a hung jury than a manslaughter verdict because this is a murder case." Garcetti decided to retry both brothers, with Judge Stanley Weisberg overseeing the new proceedings. This second trial was less of a media sensation, as cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom. Furthermore, the manslaughter charge was removed from consideration, and Judge Weisberg limited the amount of testimony given about the sexual abuse allegations. It was only during the penalty phase, after Lyle and Erik had been convicted, that testimony about the alleged sexual abuse was finally permitted. Prior to that, the prosecution had successfully argued that such testimony from witnesses was irrelevant, dismissing it as the brothers' attempt to use the abuse excuse to avoid responsibility for their parents' murders. Therapist Dr. L. Jerome Oziel had recorded his conversations with Erik and Lyle Menendez, and some of those recordings were later used in their initial trials. Oziel lost his license to practice in 1997 for violating patient confidentiality, and he was also on probation at the time of the first trial for exchanging therapy for construction work on his house. Multiple mental health professionals, including doctors John Breyer, Ann Tyler, Stuart Hart, and Ann Burgess, met with both Lyle and Erik while they were in prison awaiting their trials. These experts testified that the Menendez brothers acted out of fear, were truthful about the abuse they had suffered, and showed signs of trauma from years of mistreatment. Dr. William Vickery, who was appointed by attorney Leslie Abramson to evaluate and treat Erik, also testified that he believed his patient was truthful. However, it later emerged that Vickery had rewritten pages of his clinical notes, deleting potentially damaging material, knowing that the rewritten notes would be provided to prosecutors and used in court as though they were the originals. Vickery acted under the direction of Abramson, but no charges were brought against the latter. Vickery was placed on probation for the matter in 1998, and he subsequently surrendered his medical license in California in 2019 after being placed on probation again in 2012 for an unrelated issue. The brothers petitioned for mistrials based on the actions of Abramson and Vickery, but both requests were denied. Lyle and Erik are both married and did not have an incestuous relationship. The depiction of the Menendez brothers engaging in sexual acts is based on unsubstantiated gossip, not factual evidence. During their second trial, it did come to light that Lyle had violated Erik with a toothbrush on one occasion, but this was not part of a romantic relationship. Lyle testified that his father had played with him and that he played with Erik the same way. Claims that Erik was homosexual are also unsubstantiated. Both Lyle and Erik have stated publicly that they are straight, and they have both married women since being incarcerated. In 1999, Erik married Tammy, and after divorcing his first wife, Anna Erickson, Lyle remarried his current wife, Rebecca, in 2003.